What makes humans different from the rest of the food chain is not that we're at the top of it. When I got my first pet ever, a leopard gecko back from the pet store, you could say I was distressed. Don't do this to me, don't do this to me. What do you mean that leopard geckos can't climb walls? The whole freaking point of getting a gecko is so that you can send it on spy missions. I learned to love him for what he was not. I named him Sizzler, after my favorite restaurant, where you can get chicken nuggets in the shape of dinosaurs. Let me tell you, there is no more an inspiring buffet item than a lump of reconstituted chicken parts that styles itself as a stegosaurus. So Sizzler was the perfect name for my leopard gecko, a truly aspirational beast, the earthbound gecko that chooses not to live as some wannabe green reptilian Spider-Man, but as a ferocious jungle cat, following in the glorious footsteps of the whale, shark, the cat, fish, the egg, plant, and of course, the horseshoe crab. The crab that dreams of being a horseshoe. I fed Sizzler crickets that sat in a terrarium that sat in a bathtub, so in case they managed to escape, they would struggle fruitlessly against the impossibly high porcelain prison walls. I'd shake the crickets up in a paper bag full of protein powder like some messed up death maraca, until Sizzler crunched in, a wing or spare leg hanging out his lower jaw like salad greens. I couldn't figure out why I was feeding my pets to each other. I had this little secret. Sometimes I would slip into the bathroom and carelessly, whoops, glance at the terrarium roof and slide it a crack to grant the crickets that could climb a fighting chance. If they made it out, they were honorary geckos. Some of them escaped into the wall paneling where they played their tiny violins as long as they had music in their legs. I gave Sizzler back to the pet store. I stopped eating at his namesake restaurant. I started thinking that if chickens wanted to be dinosaurs, we should grant them that privilege while they were, still alive. It wasn't until years later that I came to the conclusion you can't stop the brutal beauty of the food chain by removing yourself from it. There's no life without death. There's no way to live perfect, so flush that dream down the toilet. Anyone who's on the tea kettle knows that even water screams when you boil it. Anyone who's driven a car on the freeway has committed bug genocide. Even if you're a vegetarian, your supermarket produce is sprayed with a product called insecticide. How do you rectify that people are dying, Cassidy? You're concerned with crickets in a world not yet rid of rape and murder. We're talking beef and pig on bacon burgers when kids still beef with pigs on Hagen burger. I'm not saying we don't need to look after us, just that we lose nothing by expanding our definition of us. What makes humans different is not our ability to oppress those weaker than us. It's our ability to protect them, to empathize. And no, man, it's not an excuse to dress your dog up like a sailor on shore leave. That stuff is obnoxious. I'm aware that lizards don't want to be geckos and that crickets don't dream of being geckos. Those are just human projections onto animals that are simply out here trying to function. I do believe in the horseshoe crab, though. The crab that dreams of being a horseshoe? And maybe you've never seen 4 living crustaceans glue themselves underneath the thoroughbred's hooves. Go ahead and tell me. There is no way that thin exoskeleton could support the weight of a 2-ton Clydesdale man. Come at me, bro. I've seen it. And I believe. Hey, Valley, do you believe in the horseshoe crab? Yeah. I went up to that horse and I said, hey, horse, I like your shoes. And that horse looked at me and said, I'm really touched. I didn't realize that humans were capable of feelings. I'm not naive, man. I know those horseshoes under me are no horseshoes at all. Hell, don't tell him. He's not even a horseshoe crab. He's actually a hermit crab. the genuine article. And I'm no horse. I'm a barnacle.